paragraphs to go, and we'll be done chapter 1, my friends, so bear with me. That an action of which the agent does not know why he performs it cannot be free goes without saying. But what about an action for which the reasons are known? This leads us to the question of the origin and meaning of thinking. For without the recognition of the thinking activity of the soul, it is impossible to form a concept of knowledge about anything, and therefore of knowledge about an action. When we know what thinking in general means, it will be easy to get clear about the role that thinking plays in human action. As Hegel rightly says, it is thinking that turns the soul, which the animals also possess, into spirit. Hence it will also be thinking that gives to human actions its characteristic stamp. And the summary for that is, only when we understand what thinking itself is can we know our world and the role that thinking plays in human action. Paragraph 18. On no account should it be said that all our action springs only from the sober deliberation of our reason. I am very far from calling human in the highest sense only those actions that proceed from abstract judgment. But as soon as our conduct rises above the sphere of the satisfaction of purely animal desires, our motives are always permeated by thoughts. Love, pity, and patriotism are driving forces for actions which cannot be analyzed away into cold concepts of the intellect. It is said that here the heart, the mood of the soul, holds sway. No doubt, but the heart and the mood of the soul do not create the motives. They presuppose them and let them enter. Pity enters my heart when the mental picture of a person who arouses pity appears in my consciousness. The way to the heart is through the head. Love is no exception. Whenever it is not merely the expression of bare sexual instinct, it depends on the mental picture we form of the loved one. And the more idealistic these mental pictures are, just so much the more blessed is our love. Here too, thought is the father of feeling. It is said that love makes us blind to the failings of the loved one, but this can be expressed the other way round, namely, that it is just for the good qualities that love opens the eyes. Many pass by these good qualities without noticing them. One, however, perceives them, and just because he does, love awakens in his soul. What else has he done but made a mental picture of what hundreds have failed to see? Love is not theirs because they lack the mental picture. The summary for that is, our motives are largely determined by thinking. Even feelings are preceded by mental images. And the final paragraph, however we approach the matter, it becomes more and more clear that the question of the nature of human action presupposes that of the origin of thinking. I shall therefore turn to this next question. We must, and the summary is for that paragraph, we must first consider the question, what is the origin of thinking? So let me just sum up this paragraph. This whole chapter is basically Steiner wants us to first get that freedom begins with recognizing that we have conscious actions and then we have unconscious actions. I mean, we can all look at our own lives and realize, yes, there were times when we were very awake to what we were doing, and then times when we're like, I don't know what I was thinking. You know, you just do it and you're like, I don't know. And then, you know, so first, freedom involves recognizing that we have conscious and unconscious motives. And for Steiner, thinking plays a huge role in this concept of freedom. And so that's why the next chapter is going to discuss a little bit more about thinking. So this is chapter 1. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. This is very disciplining for your mind. I'm just going to discuss my own personal experiences with this method. It's reading the book is a very dry, but you need to read it because it takes your thinking to a level that you just can't get it with mainstream books. If you want to discipline your mind, you must do this work. It will bear fruit. It's very good for your ability to form sharp, clear, and precise concepts. And he does say that later on in the book. And this is what you need to be doing, is to train your thinking faculty. And that's why this method was helpful. One Steiner quote Paul gave us was by Steiner. It was patience becomes insight. And so when you're doing this method, you have to be patient. There are certain paragraphs you will read and you'll be like, what is that? And it's just, it hurts your brain, but it's good for you. You know, you have, the pain, the mental frustration, it's good for you. And I'm not sure how long it took my group, because we would meet like every week. We meet, and there would be times when we would just, it was very brutal, and we didn't actually summarize the whole book. We only did a few chapters, and that took about a year, I think. I think it took a while, but what I did was I ended up summarizing it on my own, the stuff that we didn't do as a group. And I do recommend that you summarize and work with the individually as paragraphs, so you really train your thinking. If there's any comments, whatever, just post them on. If you have questions, I just did this on the fly, because I'm an improviser at heart. So I've done the work, so it's just a matter of, what do I remember, what sticks out in my mind, because I don't personally know my audience, who you are. I do assume that you have some level of experience and familiarity with anthroposophical concepts. You don't actually really need to be familiar with anthroposophy, because he doesn't, this can be read by anyone, but it helps to at least kind of have some anthroposophical familiarity. So hopefully I'll put up another video, and I hope I didn't bore you too much. So I bid thee farewell. Goodbye.